This is the Museum of Egyptian Antiquities, the treasure chest of an ancient civilization, and one of the most spectacular museums in the world. Visitors flock here by the millions to gaze into the eyes of long-dead pharaohs and marvel at their dazzling sarcophagi of silver and gold. This wooden sarcophagus looks dull and plain by comparison. You might think it was made for a commoner, but you can't always tell a coffin by its cover.
I'm Paul Kilback, and I directed the Museum Secrets episode on the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. And this story is about Ramesses II.
Why would such a great man choose a coffin made of wood? You might suspect he was frugal or modest. In fact, he was anything but.
Why we were interested in this story is because one of the artifacts in museums is his coffin. We use the coffin as an entry point that takes us to kind of one of the most spectacular and incredible places in Egypt, which is the Valley of the Kings. The Valley of Kings is in Luxor, which is quite a ways from Cairo, and we traveled there. And I remember we had to get there early in the morning for the shoot, and we were traveling across the Nile kind of at sunrise, and it was beautiful.
We hope to uncover the mystery with the help of Egyptologist Nigel Strudwick.
After we go into Ramesses' tomb, which you can see them describing here, there's some conjecture on why perhaps, the tomb was never used, and we get to flooding.
So it's possible that the tomb was flooded and they may have had to move the king out of it, but I somehow or other don't believe it. So what are the possibilities we've got? A really good possibility is tomb robbery.
Shooting in Egypt in some very difficult environment. It's 50 degrees. One thing that I can be thankful in Egypt is that we have porters. We had guys that would help carry our equipment. The second day when we were shooting, we were descending into this tomb. This is not like the Valley of the Kings, which is a tourist place. You can't go into this place. It literally is this tiny hole that's up in the hills. You got to hike up there with all your stuff. So we're going into a tomb no one gets to go into, where all the most famous kings and queens in all of Egypt were buried. It's almost a sheer drop all the way down on these rickety ladders, and we have to take all our equipment down. And once down there, you have to blast through this wall. To be 60 feet underground, underneath a mountain, when you look at the wall, you could take pieces of the rock and just pull it off. And I remember at one point after we had shot the interviews, and a cameraman and I stay and we shoot POVs and shots like that, and I had to get out of the shot. So I'm sitting deep in this tunnel, no lights on. You're in this moment where 3,000 years of history is squishing on you, but what a great place to take a moment and think about kind of all the history that had lasted there, and an incredible honor to kind of get an opportunity to go into that place and hang out where all these incredible pharaohs and figures in history kind of were laid to rest.
Every mummy, every statue, every treasure in the Egyptian museum conceals a mystery. That's what draws people here. For every secret we reveal, far more remain unspoken. Because even a vast museum can only contain a tiny fraction of the history of a proud and ancient civilization. In the land of the pharaohs, the secrets are still out there.